One of the weirdest parts about quitting gambling, sports feel boring, and nobody really talks about that. They warn you about debt, they warn you about lies, they warn you about anxiety. They don't warn you about Sunday feeling empty. For me, I couldn't watch a game without having money on it. If a random game was on TV, I guarantee I had action. And if I wasn't betting, it felt pointless. That's how warped it gets. For those of you who don't know or are new here, my name's Joe and I struggled with gambling and depression for years, and I placed my last bet April 16th, 2024. And here's the hard part. I couldn't just stop watching sports. Sports were my life. I played football through college. I'm used to the locker rooms, film sessions, bus rides, camaraderie, practice. Even outside of that, every holiday was centered around sports. Thanksgiving was football, Christmas was NBA, and now it's turning into football. Summertime baseball. It wasn't casual, it was my identity. So quitting gambling wasn't simple as just don't watch sports. They're everywhere. Restaurants have the TVs on, gyms are playing games nonstop, social media shows highlights, YouTube feeds you clips. You just can't really escape it. And for someone who loves sports first, untangling gambling felt impossible, like twisted wires in my brain, because gambling rewires sports for you. They stop being just games. They become stimulation, and every possession matters, and every missed free throw feels personal. Every drive completely changes your mood. Your brain starts to expect adrenaline every 30 seconds or so. So when the gambling stops, your brain's like, that's it. It starts to feel flat. Not because sports changed, because your dopamine did. You weren't watching sports, you were literally just watching your bet. And I remember this clearly. Like, if a game was going on, again, I had to have action on it. I couldn't just sit there. I'd open up the app, start looking at lines, check the live lines, and I'd find something, even if I didn't care or didn't like it or it was dumb, because the silence just felt uncomfortable. Watching without action felt completely wrong. And the other part is, I feel like it could have been a wasted opportunity because I might win money. So I thought I might be missing out. But that's ultimately just addiction logic talking. So when I eventually quit, I took a break from sports. Now, it wasn't forever, but it was early on. I knew that I'd have to become comfortable being around sports and having games on and not gambling. But the thing is, boredom felt dangerous. And you suddenly have all this free time, especially at night, especially during football season. Like, let's say it's Monday night. You're sitting there, there's nothing going on, you're trying to be normal, and you just put the game on. Now, here's the problem. If it's not your favorite team, without betting, it feels slow and empty and boring. Now you're bored watching something boring, and that's when the urge starts to hit. You start saying, fine, maybe I'll just do this game. I can handle Monday Night Football. It's not like there's a whole slate of NFL games on today. And that's how it starts. You break the seal, your brain lights up. Now you're scrolling, checking live bets, looking at props, and suddenly it's 2 a.m. and you're betting on tennis in Malaysia. Obviously, not because you care about that, but you just need the stimulation. And the escalation, I swear, is that fast. Just one game always leads to how am I here again? So that's why I stepped away from watching, because boredom plus access plus live sports is dangerous. But here's the good part. Eventually something happens. It might be your team goes on a playoff run or a miracle moment, or just recently with the Winter Olympics, Team USA hockey, and you start to feel it again. But this time it feels different. It's not anxiety, it's not an urge or dread, it's just fun. Like pure bliss when you were younger, when you watch games for the love of it, not because you wanted to follow the odds or spreads or live bets whether a ball or a strike is coming next. That's when you know your brain is starting to heal. Now, don't get me wrong, I still watch sports now, but not nearly as much as I used to. I can probably count the number of NFL games I watched outside of my favorite team on a hand. And I don't live and die by those games anymore. If I miss a game, I miss it. I'm not sitting at the dinner table streaming the game on my phone because we don't have it on TV. I'm not hiding. There's no emotional meltdowns. And honestly, the games just matter less and life starts to matter more. And that is so much more worth it. The real problem isn't boredom. It's that gambling convinces you that just watching sports isn't enough. It hijacks something pure and turns passion into action. It turns fandom into risk. But you can love sports again without betting. And if you can't, that's something to look at. If sports feel empty right now, you're not broken. You're essentially just detoxing. Give it time. Sports will feel like sports again. And when they do, that's a win no sportsbook can take from you.